In today's Tactical Tuesday episode, I'm going to go over the one-card tech. Nationals concluded on Sunday, February 6th around 10 p.m. Central, for me. And with it, the top 8 lists were 2 Gabubond Bond of Friendship that would take first and second place, 2 Lordknightmon Loop players that battled it out for third, 2 Security Control players, and 1 Lordknightmon and 1 Agubond Bond of Bravery. For today's episode, I am interested in particular of the Lordknightmon and Agubond Bond decks, because teching cards can be the make or break in certain matchups. Brian Dew's top 8 Lordknightmon list had quite a number of cards that were one-card tech options. 1 Sakuyamon, 1 Mastamon, 1 Dynasmon, 1 Emergency Program Shutdown, 1 Spiral Masquerade, 1 Blinding Ray, and 1 Yellow Memory Boost. By the way, link to his deck profile in the description below. Definitely check it out, I want to see this man's channel grow. Spreading the love from one aspiring content creator to another. Dan Vang's top 8 Agubond list also had quite a number of cards that were one tech options. 1 Digi-Panda, 1 Terriermon, 1 Mechanorimon, 1 Gravity Crush, and 1 Trident Revolver. At some point, I'll update this video with Gaia Force Gaming's upload of Dan Vang's Agubond build, with a link in the description below. Hell, even the first place Gabumon Bond of Friendship build ran a single one-tech copy of Forbidden Trident, which came super clutch in the final game. One-card teching can help provide coverage for you against certain decks. If we look at Brian's list for example, a majority of the cards provide synergy and support for yellow decks. Sakuyamon stops the Gabumon Bond of Friendship decks from popping off and hitting 3 security to 0. Mastamon is an amazing counter for the Security Control matchup, and Dynasmon turns your 3 life into 4 life. And Brian makes an excellent point of discussion in that in the current meta, 3 security can be instant game. While I'm not focusing on his entire deck profile, there are components of it that are valuable. Emergency Program Shutdown is a tech card that saw a lot of play last weekend, with one Lilith Loop player that I observed on stream counterplaying it against the other Lilith Loop player, and preventing them from going off. But the most mad lad of this weekend I have to give to Dan Vang. 4-color Agubond with a splash of 2 memory blockers and Mechanorimon. At first, you may think the build itself is crazy, but when you actually stop and think about it, what is something that Red is missing from letting it all come together? A memory blocker. Red presently has limited draw engines that are typically archetype specific, with only a handful of generic ones. Blue on the other hand gets a lot of draw power and memory manipulation, but no destruction effects. In the Gabumon Bond of Friendship matchup, Red can be punished when swinging into a Hammer Spark or even an Ice Wall, but when slapping a Digi-Panda or Terriermon down, this changes the game immediately. You're not dependent on having a delicate plan, and you have a body that's on board. As for Mechanorimon, this Digimon has become a tech in certain builds, as its evolution cost is almost the same as its on-play cost. And for double usage with its standalone effect, can provide value. With one tech cards though, there are 2 thoughts to consider. Number 1, consistency. Overall, how does the one tech card of a copy affect the synergy of your deck with its own standalone colors? And number 2, how is the card utilization in every round? Is the card dead in one round versus another? If we look at Brian's Lordknightmon list, all the cards mentioned are yellow, except Emergency Program Shutdown. And because white actually is a color in Digimon, a white source needs to be present, which Brian had 2 options to go through, with Valderarm and Analog Youth. If we look at Dan's Agubond list, the one techs work for Red and the Mechanorimon, but the Digi-Panda and the Terriermon would be consistency issues, which came up against Lilith Loop. Because even though Digi-Panda and Terriermon can memory block Lilith Loop, I have a suspicion that during the Asho game, Dan was not drawing into Red rookies, that would have made evolutions possible to dig deeper. In a conversation afterwards, we briefly discussed Gaussmon, but because it's not an Agumon, that is its own hindrance as well. So overall, a card can be live or dead, depending on your matchup, or even during the match when you draw into it. In that regard, memory blockers were very effective against Gabumon Bond of Friendship decks. Which again, the discussion of sideboards came up. With the limit of Reinforced Memory Boost and Ice Wall, do these cards become 1-tech cards, or are they staples in the future of their colors? What are the other cards you use as 1-ofs in your deck? Or are you a 2 or 4 kind of person? Personally, I rarely like to run 1-ofs in a deck. I'm typically 2, 3, or 4 when it comes to deck building. But let me know where you stand in the comments below. This is Digi-Panda. Logging out.